friends, in this video I'll be discussing about the mistakes which we normally do while doing functional testing that I'm going to discuss in detail in this video. There are usually 10 mistakes we normally do while doing functional testing, and if we do those mistakes, what are the biggest impact will be there in our testing aspect, that also I'm going to discuss in this video. So let's go by one. The first mistake normally we do is in functional testing is where we do not have a right inadequate test planning. That is the aspect, or that is a mistake normally we do, where we are not going to detail out all the details in the test planning, or creating a test plan that does not cover all the functional aspects or requirements. So if we do that, the impact would lead to missing of the test cases, or incomplete test coverage, or potentially overlooking the defects. That is the first mistake if you do the inadequate test planning. And the next one is not understanding the requirement fully as part of functional testing. If our testers having without any clarity or not having a clear understanding of the software requirements, that is going to lead to where we are going to test the wrong functionalities, missing the key aspects of the application, as well as inaccurate defect reporting will also happen. And the next one is poor test case design. If we design a poor test cases, then what happens? The test cases becomes too vague, too broad, or not aligned with the functional requirements. That leads to inefficient testing will happen, where scenarios being tested too generally or not at all we are going to test, and leads to poor coverage. And the next one is lack of prioritization. Prioritization should be very thoroughly planned. If you are not going to do a prioritization while testing the application as part of functional testing, by not giving any priority, where we are going to test everything, that is a very risky business, because with the given available resources, prioritization is a must. If we are not going to do a prioritization, then the impact would be time and resources will be wasted on the less critical areas, while more important features remain insufficiently tested. Because we are going to test everything, that means we cannot utilize our resources or time very efficiently. And the next one is, if we ignore the negative testing, if we do that mistake, what will happen? If we do the ignoring the negative test cases or negative testing, that results are impacted will be undetecting the defects that are related to error handling, which can lead to the application crashes or security vulnerability. The next one is insufficient test data preparation. While doing functional testing, you should have good test data should be there. If you do not have a test data which is reflecting the real world scenarios, then it will be having an incomplete test data, or outdated test data, or insufficient test data. That leads to lot of functional issues, where we may not be able to uncover all the realistic scenarios if you do not have a right test data. And the next one is overlooking the boundary conditions. Boundary conditions are very much needed while we are going to test the application in the functional aspect, where if we are not putting the inputs for boundaries such as minimum and maximum values, edge cases, and special characters, if we are not going to do that kind of testing, then that leads to where we are going to find lot of critical bugs if you are not covering all these cases, and definitely all the critical bugs will pop up, and we may see lot of challenges once we put it into production. And the next one is relying solely on manual testing. This is also another mistake we do while doing functional testing. You should not just rely on manual testing, you should also look for automation. Otherwise it would be a more of repetitive or time consuming the test cases if you're just limiting ourselves for the manual testing. That is a biggest mistake you should not do always. You should always plan for automation testing. And also, if you are not reviewing the test cases and test results, also very crucial. If you do that mistake, definitely it would be a big challenge, because these test cases and results, normally you should review or walk through with the development team or other stakeholders. That guarantees that we may find more issues while reviewing our results validation, and also we are taking feedback from the development team and stakeholders as well. That would going to reduce the overall burden for the testing team. Otherwise, this is also a big problematic issue. And the next one is poor defect reporting. If you are not reporting properly the defects with not having enough details for developers to reproduce or fix the issue, then that is also another issue. That mistake should not do. Where we should be able to write detailed, not vague, very clear defect reports is very much needed. Otherwise, what happens? It slows down the overall defect resolution processes, leads to a lot of miscommunication, may result in the defect being marked as a not reproducible or unresolved, because we are writing the defect reports in a very vague or incomplete manner. These are the 10 important mistakes we should not do while doing functional testing. If we do this mistake, I already covered up what would be the impact if you do this kind of mistake and what we should do in order to correct it. Also, I have discussed in this video. If you guys really like this video, please click on like button. If you guys are not subscribed, do subscribe. Thanks for watching this video. Bye for now. Take care.